Okay, today we're going to review Siman Tafresh I involved the Siman that we learned. This is going to be a brief review from the notes that I typed up on the Siman. Sif Aleph, we discussed. The Torah says that someone who lights the menorah recites three brachas. The Gemara says this in Shabbos Chav Gimel as well. On the first night of Chanukah, we say the bracha of lahadlik. We say shechiyanu, right? We say lahadlik near shel Chanukah, and we say sheasa nisim. Those are the three brachas that a person would say. Now, someone who didn't say shechiyanu on the first night may say it on the second and third night of Hanukkah. So you could say it every night of Hanukkah. Technically, you could say it in the middle of nowhere, but preferably we do it when we light the menorah. Magen Avraham says that someone who forgot and lit one nair less than he was supposed to. So he was supposed to light, let's say, four wicks or candles, and he only lit one. And then he realized after he finished lighting that he forgot one. He should just light that other one, but without the recitation of a bracha. Mishna Berura says that the text of the bracha is "Lahadlik ner shel Chanukah," and he says that's the text that's in the Gemara and Poskim. Nusach Sfard says "Lahadlik ner Chanukah." They drop the shell. Mishna Berura says that the nukuda on the lamed is a chirik. V'higianu lizman hazeh, according to the Mishna Berura. Piskay Teshuvos relates that based on the rules of dikduk, one should put a patach under the letter lamed and say "V'higianu la zman hazeh," and this is related by many siddurim, machzorim, and this is the custom he wants to say. Second sif of this siman, the Torah says in the second night only two brachas are recited. You drop the shechiyanu. You just say "Lahadlik near shel Chanukah" and sheasa nisim, etc. Mishna Berura says someone who lit a menorah and forgot to recite the bracha of the hadlik near shel Chanukah, but remembered that he didn't recite the bracha before he lit all of the neiros. So what happened is that he was lighting the menorah, and in the middle he's like, "Oh my gosh, I forgot to recite the brachas." He could recite all of the brachas as long as he isn't done. However, if he already lit everything on the menorah, and then he should not recite the bracha of lahadlik near shel Chanukah. He should just recite the brachas of sheasa nisim and shechiyanu. If it was the first night, he would say shechiyanu. It should be pointed out, and I must add to this that I forgot to, the shari tshuva at the end of the siman that we learned in yesterday's session said that if you were still involved with fixing the wicks, even though you finished lighting, you could still recite the bracha of the hadlik near shel Chanukah. The Mishna Berura did not quote that idea over here. The third sif of the siman, the Torah says that someone who sees a menorah that is lit on the first night of Hanukkah should recite two brachas, aka you drop the lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. You just say sheasa nisim and shechiyanu. Someone who sees a menorah after the first night should only recite the bracha of sheasa nisim, because the shechiyanu you already said in the first night, so therefore you would no longer say it, and you wouldn't say the hadlik neir shel Chanukah because you're not actually lighting it. Now, this is specifically referring to someone who will not light in the future, and no one else is lighting for him. However, if someone else is lighting for him, or if he will light in the future, he should not recite the bracha upon looking at a menorah. Lavush explained you want to bundle all of the brachas together, preferably do it that way. We also discussed numerous reasons as to why this halacha of menorah and Chanukah is unique and differs from all other areas of halacha in which a person is able to recite the brachas upon visually seeing it, even not performing the physical mitzvah. We don't say if you see a sukkah you can make a bracha. If you see matzah you could see a bracha. Simple explanation is because there are multiple brachas involved over here, as we learned, as opposed to just one bracha. Number one. Number two is that Persumanisa publicizing the miracle, and therefore its visual aspect over here specifically. Mishna Berura explains that if he will light afterward, he shouldn't recite the bracha of seeing the menorah, since he'll be able to recite the brachas when he lights later, right? Which we already alluded to. The fourth sif, the Torah relates that the source of saying Hanaros Halalu is in Maseches Sofrim. Magen Avraham says that after one lights the first nair, he should say Hanaros Halalu. So that's the opinion of the Magen Avraham. Mishna Berura also quotes this. The Pri Megadim questions reciting Hanaros Halalu after lighting the first wick or the first candle of the menorah, because very simple, the bracha that I would say brachos, but really correctly, it's the bracha of lahadlik near shel Chanukah that we recite really covers everything that we're going to light. So therefore, Hanaros Halalu could perhaps be considered an interruption in between the completion of lighting all of the wicks or the candles of the menorah could constitute as an interruption. Obviously, the Magen Avraham and others weren't concerned about that because they hold that Hanaros Halalu was said after the first after you light the first wick or the first candle. The reason why they hold that it's not an interruption, if you would say Hanaros Halalu after lighting the first one, is very simple. The first one is Me'ikr Hadin. Contrary to common misconception, with many think you don't need to light everything. Technically, all you need is one and done. We're going to learn that another time in Siman Tafresh Ayin Aleph, the beginning of the Siman. It comes up the Gemara and Shabbos, Chaf Aleph, recordings ready on rabbiblond.com. We learned that around 10 years ago. But the idea is all you need from the letter of the law, if you have a family of 10 people, it's on the eighth night, all you need is one. One wick you need to light, one candle, that's it, you fulfill your obligation. So therefore, the Magen Avraham holds that since you only need to light, technically speaking, only one, therefore you could start saying Hanaros Halalu after. Prima Gadim would say no. No, no, and the Mishna Berura quotes this Prima Gadim, and the Prima Gadim says and this requires more research. No, the bracha of Lahadlik Ner Shel Shabbos goes on everything that you're gonna. Excuse me, Lahadlik Ner Shel Chanukah goes on everything that you're gonna light. Therefore, you should only start saying Hanaros Halalu after you complete the full lighting. So that's the argument between them. Whatever you do at the end of the day is fine. Magen Avraham says that Hanaros Halalu actually has 36 words corresponding to the 36 wicks or candles that we're going to be lighting throughout the duration of Hanukkah. If you add up 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8, you get to 36. The Sharatzion therefore says that one should say Hanaros Halalu Kodesh as opposed to Hanaros Halalu Kodesh Haim, because if you say Kodesh Haim, then you're gonna pop it up to 37 words and you won't have this nice symmetry with the numbers equaling being equivalent to 36 words on Hanaros Halalu, 36 that we're gonna light candles slash wicks that we're gonna light on Hanukkah. So that's what he says. Magen Avraham says that the words Hanaros Halalu has 8 words which correspond to the 8 days of Hanukkah. How does it have 8? It has 9. The answer is Machasis Shekel says it's either referring to Neiros Halalu, you drop the hey, which could be a prefix, or you drop the vav in Hanaros Halalu, in the word Haneros above. The Levushe Srad points out that the pasuk in Bamidbar in Perek Ches pasuk Beis actually spells Haneros Halalu without a vav. So that would be the Levushe Srad. So that's basically the story with Hanaros Halalu. A lot of different tunes. Do whatever tune you want. It's also an idea of singing others' mirrors, Ma'asor, etc. Whatever you want to do, do. Shulchan Aruch says last sif of this Siman was discussing. This was a tougher sif to learn. Little tricky. Shulchan Aruch says that one should begin to light on the first night of lighting on the right side of menorah, and then on the second night you add it next to the left, and you light the first one that you're going to add next. That's according, excuse me, that's according to the Shulchan Aruch. We saw numerous opinions in this if the Taz, the Vilna Gaon, exactly how to light. Whatever you do is fine. That's what the beracha says. There's basically 3 different opinions, and you're going to fulfill your obligation no matter what you do. The argument of how you should light and position the wicks slash candles is regarding the preferable way to light. So that's the story over here. Okay, one more point, and then I want to correct myself from yesterday. The Mishna Berura quotes Chai Adam, who says that one should stand and place his hand one should stand and place his uh yeah, I gotta rephrase this. One should stand and place his hand, his I'm gonna change that to his body, place his body and hand by the new wick, by the new wick that he will light first, in order that he doesn't need to pass over a mitzvah. It should be pointed out a lefty also would light in the same way in terms of how to line up the actual menorah, how to line everything up. He would light in the same way, number one. So that's a lefty. But he would use probably his left hand, if I'm not mistaken, to light. But he would still position his body and his hand same way, and the menorah would be the same. I just want to correct myself on a small error that I made in understanding the Mishna Berura yesterday. The Mishna Berura in Tafresh Ayin Vav at the end of Sifkot and Tes says Umato v'nochon im yochel asader kulim b'toch klal haPesach. What the Mishnah Berura over there was talking about, if you're lighting in the area of the doorway, so you put your menorah in the under the what's called like the Suras haPesach, which in English we will call the door frame. However, what this specific part of the Mishnah Berura is talking about, that instead of putting it like this, like let's say the door frame is like this, right? So you're going to line them in the menorah this way, which would be considered horizontally. That's what it is. So it would be basically, if you're looking at the door, you would be able to see the total menorah. What this Mishnah Berurah specific point was talking about, he was talking about, no, place it vertically. So it's more like a T, a lowercase t. That's what this Mishnah Berurah is saying. Shikulim shavim b'techach samach pesach. All of them will be equivalent and within 3 or 4 inches of the door frame, meaning of the door post, rather, more correctly. Right. But be careful not to open the door within a period of 30 minutes from when you light, so that it won't you won't cause it to get extinguished. So that is a very brief summary of this siman that we spent a few sessions on already. Any questions or comments on this siman, anything at all that we did?
I think
No?
I'm good.
Yeah? Good?
I'm
All right, fine.